kan niet lezen wat er staat. Orientation is...
Excellent, zeg.
Hè?
Je zegt, ik kan hier gelijk.
Ja, maar...
Orientation is loading.
Hier staat gekanteld.
Kantelt?
Staat een poort erin.
Nee, hij staat zo. Oh. Hè?
Dat het een livestream is, social. Recht aan.
Moet hij recht? Zij moet zo.
Ja, zij heeft het
Je bent live nu.
Dus eventjes de check. Nou, de keynote die gaat zo straks beginnen. Als jullie vragen hebben, laat gerust een comment achter, reageer. We zullen niks kunnen zeggen, maar komt straks hierna komt de productdemo. Laat het achter, we kijken live mee en veel plezier.
Zoiets, denk ik.
Iets naar rechts stil.
Is dat te kijken dan?
Please kindly everyone. Everyone, please pay attention. Please take your seats because we are about to begin. Thank you.
Power. It's always there, even if we don't realize it, making a difference in our work and play. But now, we're faced with environmental challenges affecting our power supply. It's time to explore new eco-friendly power solutions. Introducing Anker Solix, a reliable, intuitive, and renewable energy solution. Our mission is to enable everyone, everywhere, with energy independence, to power on a sustainable future together. We've spent years in development focusing on two core values: dependable quality and human-centric philosophy, to empower you to live life to the fullest, sustainably. So you can have power for adventure, wherever you choose to roam. Power for coziness, staying close to loved ones in any situation. Power for living, enjoying endless energy in your home. For everything that life has to offer, rain or shine, we'll be there to keep your life powered. Here's to infinite possibilities and beyond. Anker Solix. Live in power.
welcome. My name is Friedrich Stiemer. I'm in charge for social media across Europe here at Anker Solix. It is a pleasure to have every one of you here and to host this special event with you. So for the next part of the program, we will begin with our keynote, and afterwards we will have a very special guest speaker here. After the guest speaker, we will invite you to join and continue the experience on the first floor, where we will have prepared several product display areas for you to get hands-on with our latest product innovation. So, to open today's event, it is my pleasure to welcome the CEO of Anker Solix Europe and President of Global MSS, Kelvin.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Anker Solix users, partners, members of media, and good afternoon, Amsterdam. Welcome to join Anker Solix new product launch event. Thank you again. Let's start from Anker. Anker, as you know, we have been in the business for over 15 years. Over that time, Anker has evolved from a leader in mobile charging to a multi-category leader. With the pursuing of the excellence of technology innovation, we have received over 200 million users' trust across 146 countries. Thanks to your support and trust, each of our product categories have received wide brand recognition and user adoption. For example, Eufy has been the #1 brand of security camera and a window doorbell in Netherlands. Actually, a lot of users, they even don't know Eufy belongs to Anker Group. In the solar storage scenario, we and our partners and the users together have built the #1 position in plug-and-play home battery solutions. And that has happened for over 2 years already. Since the very beginning, Anker and its partners and its users, we have led the transformation of the industry together. From the basic solar to solar with storage. We did a small calculation. Anker Solix products have stored over 225 million kWh electricity. On the one hand, it helped relieve the pressure to the grid. On the other hand, it all transformed to savings. In our calculation, it helped save over 85 million euros for our end users. And people love savings. That's why they give us all these 5-star reviews. They're telling us, hey, after installation of the Solarbank, their solar systems finally working. Finally, their electricity bill dropped. I reviewed one user's comments recently, and he's saying, I can't believe I can save so much money. And I can't stop watching Anker Solix app every day over 50 times. You know, it's watching Tico Tico every second. It's making us and making our partners all proud of that. It's helping with solar with storage, helping with the self-consumption rate increasing for 50%, and also increasing the savings over 177%. At the same time, we committed to greater social responsibilities. Our Solix products have helped reduce over 190,000 tons of carbon emissions. What does that mean? That's equivalent to a forest of 192 kilometers can do. And what does that 192 mean? Actually, it's almost the same size of Amsterdam. These are just milestones since the establishment of the Anker Solix. Our goal, or we say our joint goal together, is make the sustainable energy solutions accessible to every family in the world. We firmly believe that by growing together with our partners and users together, we have a very bright future to get going forward. But before introducing the superstar today, I would like to share why this moment is very important for the industry. Through extensive user research in Netherlands and Germany, we found out more and more users are concerned about the cancellation of the net metering. And more German users, they are expecting the deduction of the feed-in tariff. With all those policies gone, the solar power generated during the day may become a waste. And their savings may decrease over 76%. That's a big pain. Another group of users is concerned about extreme conditions. Extreme weather, extreme unexpected power outage due to the grid overload. They urgently need very reliable power backup. Overall, users are demanding higher returns and very stable green supply. However, the industry, we believe now, still lacks of truly effective solutions. Existing solutions, they are lack of capacity, capability, that all result in long payback period. Of course, there are traditional solutions. I think they're working, but still tremendous the users. They're concerned about the complexity and also the high cost. Today, we are introducing a new solution that will open another era for solar storage. Let's check the video. Introducing Anker Solix Solarbank Max AC. Yeah, let me welcome my colleague, Aaron, to review you the more details of this beauty. Thank you so much. Enjoy.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Aaron. I'm the Strategic Sales Director at Anker Solix. It's a pleasure to be here with everyone today. And we are here to introduce the Solarbank Max AC, the world's first 7 kilowatt hour all-in-one plug-and-home battery solar system for retrofit. This is not just an incremental upgrade. It's not just a slightly bigger battery. It's 100% compatible with all existing solar systems, bringing professional scale performance wrapped and packed into a plug-and-play experience. This is a complete redefinition. The Anker Solarbank Max AC is designed to deliver max performance, max experience, max intelligence, and max reliability. So let's start with the performance. This is a truly major breakthrough. Now we support 3,500 watts of bi-directional AC power. In fact, it's the most powerful plug-in solution in the industry today. It's 40% higher than the industry average, But what does that actually mean for the household consumer? So it means when you've got rooftop solar and it's peaking in midday, you won't waste a single drop of sunshine. It effortlessly captures all the excess solar power that your home isn't using at that time. And when the sun goes down, it packs a massive 7 kilowatt hours of capacity, just in one single unit. So we looked at the data, and our research shows that a typical Dutch household consumes exactly around 7 kilowatt hours of battery energy overnight. So that's why 7 kilowatt hours isn't just a number that we've plucked out of the sky. It's actually the perfect sweet spot, and it meets your real world usage. Right out of the box, saving you from buying costly expansions from day one. But as we know, if your family needs more, the system seamlessly can scale up to 42 kilowatt hours. So as your life grows, your energy can grow with it. And I mentioned earlier the 3,500 watts of bi-directional power, but let's actually talk and break through the output. Let's see what it means for your daily life. So 3,500 watts perfectly maximizes a standard 16 amp household circuit. This means that you finally have the freedom to run those heavy duty appliances without constantly checking the power limitations. So whether it's charging that electric vehicle, powering those kitchen appliances for a family dinner, or as we may know, we've got the washing machine on back and forth over the weekend before the kids go back to school, a single Solarbank Max AC can handle it all effortlessly. So for users that have ultimate energy demands, we can also support seamless expansion with up to 3 units in parallel and 11 kilowatts output. So no matter the size of your home or the scale of your ambition, Anker Solix Solarbank Max AC has a configuration that fits every single household. Now, when the grid unexpectedly can go down, the Solarbank Max AC can deliver a massive 3,680 watts directly on its off-grid port just to the right-hand side. And to handle the high startup appliances, it can effortlessly absorb a 7,000 watt peak usage and peak surge, ensuring that circuits will never trip. But if you want backup completely for your entire home, by simply connecting the Anker Solix Power Dock Pro, the Solarbank Max AC instantly unlocks 5,000 watts for whole home backup. But as we know, homeowners can sometimes need more, so you can run parallel 2 units and create 10,000 watts off-grid power to run that entire home. So whether it takes, for us as a business, with that parallel system, it can be done with under 10 milliseconds. So you'll have seamless backup. So whether that's for your lights, they won't flicker, the Wi-Fi to keep the children quiet, or if you're an intense gamer, your session won't miss a beat. Powering all of this is our cutting-edge 314 amp-hour cells, delivering a massive 10,000 cycles with a 15-year lifespan. Long after you've replaced that washing machine or those appliances, the system will stand the test of time. And while the average industry is calculating at 6,000 cycles, we deliver a 67% improvement. That results in a full 40% more total energy throughput across its life. Now, for most of you that know Anker Solix and our product portfolio, we have innovative energy optimizers in the portfolio, and this is no different. So we have the Smart Energy Optimizer, which unlocks 100% depth of discharge. It's an industry-wide secret that most 5 kilowatt hour battery capacities only really give you the 4.5 kilowatt hour of usable power. The rest is just locked away. So we refuse as a business to compromise and make that compromise. So when we say the battery is 7 kilowatt hours, you truly get the full 7 kilowatt hours. And instead of just charging just once a day, the Solarbank Max AC works twice as hard. It charges from your solar panels by day and from the grid when energy is cheapest at night. Now, combining 100% usable capacity with 2 cycles a day, it delivers up to 55% more lifetime energy than any alternative on the market today. Let's discuss max savings. Max performances, what do they mean for your wallet? For me, it's massive daily savings. What can we do to support the end user? So by unlocking the full potential of your solar panels, the Solarbank Max AC can push your total energy savings up to €1,696 per year. That means it pays back itself within 3.5 years. Now, if we look at the data, the industry average is a payback of around 5 years, and solar without storage can be prolonged of up to 8 years. Now, we know that every home is unique, and calculating your actual energy usage as an end user can be quite complicated. So we wanted to make this completely effortless for the Anker Solix experience. That's why we built a customized savings calculator. Now, you don't need to be an energy expert. You just need to enter a few basic details on the Anker Solix website. Where you live, and roughly how much power you may use. Now, in seconds, it gives you a very clear indication, personalised estimation of that potential return. It takes the guesswork out of the transition to smart energy. And of course, we're not just focused on saving you money. We're also making the system really easy and worry-free to use. Anker Solix Solarbank Max AC also delivers the Max user experience. Now, we've continued the widely praised all-in-one design, bringing a more streamlined, effective, space-saving and convenient installation experience. With just an instant stack, the main unit can quickly expand by stacking additional expansion battery packs to increase the capacity. Plug and play, or just like Lego. Simply connect to a dedicated circuit within the house to complete the installation. And when connecting, we also provide not just one, but 2 solutions. 2 solutions to support different plug types, delivering a true plug and play experience. Now, after the installation is complete, you open up the Anker app, and setup can be completed in just 5 minutes. There is no need to go through that complex, traditional setup system. Those processes are eliminated. Now, we as a business have also developed significant and made changes to the optimizations of the daily user experience. Now, equipping the Solarbank Max AC with a newly upgraded display system, it is clear and easy to operate. So in everyday use, you can monitor your system via the Max AC screen or through the app. The system also operates extremely quietly. Daily noise levels are as low as 30 decibels, similar to a very quiet library. So it stays out of your way and lets you get on with your life. For your convenience, we have continued to support the P1 meter, but we're also introducing with you today the Anker Solix Smart Meter Gen 2. Now, this new meter features one of the thinnest designs among 3-phase meters, making installation simple and space efficient. is high intelligence, supporting dual measurement plans and overload protection. It helps actually safeguard your home circuit in real time. More importantly, installation is faster, more flexible. It supports both single and three-phase systems, and it adapts easily to the different installation scenarios that we see every day. It's both wired and Wi-Fi connectivity, so the system ensures stable communication at all times. In addition, our product features an innovative spring clamp terminal, enabling quick connections. Even if the wiring is connected incorrectly or even reversed, the meter automatically detects and it makes the adjustment, making installation so much more reliable and worry-free. The good news also is that our new meter offers strong compatibility and is completely supportive of our other product line in portfolio, the Anker Solix X1. The intelligent experience doesn't just stop here. We're introducing Max Intelligence. Solarbank Max AC is both powerful, intelligent, truly elevates the user experience to the next level. So the foundation of these intelligent features lies in advanced AI algorithms. We use transformer-based models, similar to those used in ChatGPT, and that enables high accurate scenarios, predictions, and platforms. Moreover, we are actually integrated with over 170 electricity retailers to access real-time electricity pricing and intelligently adjust charge and discharge strategies. Now, based on these AI capabilities, we've also developed a complete AI management system. For example, the system can predict future weather conditions. Let's say tomorrow, it's going to be a cloudy day, no sunshine, it's going to rain. What we can do is the Solarbank Max AC will automatically charge. It will work out the expectancy with limited sunlight in advance. It will charge automatically at the lower electricity prices the day before, helping the end user benefit from lower energy costs the next day. Now, based on these AI capabilities, we also have an overall return improvement, and that can reach between 30 to 50%. We also offer strong, capable compatibilities. Now, the Solarbank Max AC can act as the central controller. It can support devices in your home such as the EV charger, the smart meter, the smart plugs, and it also, as we know, supports third-party devices, including Shelly meters, Everhome IR, and many more. Solarbank Max AC also supports multiple protocols. Now, we're also working with the industry-leading energy providers like Frank Energy to integrate Solarbank Max AC with imbalanced trading, creating new revenue opportunities for the end user. We've also worked very closely with the Home Assistant smart home platform. It enables seamless integration into your home. Now, at the same time, we've developed and we've deeply integrated industry-leading AI capabilities, introducing the new Anker AI Intelligent Assistant, which supports natural language, multiple languages, and context recognition. You can ask it a question like you'd speak to someone on the phone. How efficient is my system today? Or, we're going out on Saturday, and please make sure the battery is fully charged and stored up before we're back at 8 p.m. This is real world. This is what people are looking for within this industry. It provides fast, accurate responses. This is our latest Solarbank Max AC. Performance, max experience, max intelligence. But the foundations of Anker Solix is built on max reliability. We've implemented 7 layers of safety. Complete protection across the entire system. This helps safeguard the home in real time. The integrated fire suppression pack, among the most advanced in the industry, acts like a miniature fire extinguisher, and it automatically prevents potential risks within the household. It's built to be robust, with the C5 anti-corrosion rating, the IP66 weather-resistant protection, and -20 for charge and discharge. It can stand the test of time through the harshest of weather conditions. So let's recap on what I've discussed with you today. You can start with as little as a 7 kilowatt-hour battery storage, but you can go up to a 42 kilowatt-hour capacity. As lifestyles change and families grow, you can build on your system to support. Ultimate backup with a 3,500 watt bi-directional AC power. Savings per year of up to €1,696. 100% compatibility, which works perfectly with existing PV setups. The 15-year lifespan, the 10-year warranty, the 10,000 cycles, a 5-minute setup, the AI assistance, and it's built for the extremes. Thank you very much for taking the time to understand and listen about the Solarbank Max AC. I'm now going to welcome Sital, who is the country manager for Benelux.
Hello everyone, I'm Sital. Nice to meet you all here. Thank you for coming. Now, let's talk about pricing. In a typical setup, let's say you have a 5 kilowatt inverter with a 10 kilowatt hour of battery. It will cost you about 3,500 euros at the current market price. That's excluding the VAT and installation. It can be a bit expensive. Now, with our even more powerful Solarbank Max AC, it's going to change the industry with unbelievable pricing. In Europe, the suggested retail price for the Solarbank AC, including VAT, the main unit will be 2,499 euros, and the expansion battery will be 1,999 euros. And in Germany, excluding VAT, the suggested price for the main unit will be 2,299 euros and 1,799 euros for the expansion battery. And that's not all. We also have prepared a special offer for early users. So starting now, you can subscribe via email to receive an exclusive discount combined up to 700 euros. And when the product open sales, you can use this code to unlock the special price. And that's not all. We have 2 more additional gifts. First, you'll receive a smart meter. So for the user in Netherlands and in Belgium, you'll receive a free P1 smart meter. And for our users in Germany, you'll receive a free smart meter Gen 2, the one we just launched today. And second, after you've made the purchase, you also receive a free Anker Prime 220 watt power bank. So you can use Anker's charging technology on the go. This is our way of thanking our early supporters, and please subscribe to unlock this special offer. Now, to make purchasing more convenient, we will also build a strong network with trusted launch partners across regions. Now, starting with Netherlands and Belgium, moving to Germany, and last but not least, in France. Now, that was the Solarbank Max AC. We also have something designed for our professional channels. For users with a high performance requirement, we are also introducing Anker Solix XE series. It will have a PV input of 10 kilowatt, 5 kilowatt AC input and output, and the capacity from 7 up to 42 kilowatt hour. This will be distributed through our partner channels with dedicated technical experts and are available to provide on-site installation services. Together with our partners, we have established the Anker Solix installation network across multiple countries, bring you one-stop product and services. Now, energy storage is not just a one-time simple purchase. It's a relationship that lasts more than 15 years. So throughout this entire time, we'll be with you, providing reliable, sustainable, and safe energy solutions. Thank you all.
So it is now my pleasure to welcome our guest speaker, Arash Azami. Arash is the founder of Unify Energy, initiator of the Synergy Energy Innovation Ecosystem, and chair of Universal Rate. With 25 years of experience across digital and energy innovation, he is widely recognized for bringing together technology, systems thinking, and human values to rethink the future of energy. So please join me in welcoming Arash Azami.
It's an honor to be in this room, and I find it so exciting to, as an advocate for this type of solution for many, many years, to see them come to life and become successful and real and tangible and easy and logical. Because you know, I think many of us in this room stem from the era where anything that had to do with your own energy system could only be done by people that we, with a polite word, would frame as nerds. And now, you know, it becomes available to all the regular people, like myself. And that's beautiful. I'll be talking in a few minutes about mindsets through large transitions, because we are just right in the middle of the energy transition, which is, I believe, the biggest transition that we are undergoing as humanity. And we can choose to show our leadership in that. And also, and I'll go through this very quickly, as you can see, I had the opportunity to meet people, but also write some books. And, well, that's the easy part of the talk. But this is the interesting part. As you may have heard my name, Arash Azami. For those of you not from the Netherlands, that's a typical Dutch name. And no, jokes aside, my mother's name is Regine van der Poel, so that's very, very Dutch. My father's name is Aladdin Azami, which is a Persian name. So my parents met, and when they got married and I was born, after a few years, they thought, you know what, we're going to do development work in Africa. So they moved to Niger, to West Africa, and that's where I grew up. So this picture was taken by my mother in the early 1980s. And as you can see, this is me in the middle, and my brother Omid, and our neighbor Amadou, and we're watching television. Watching television was quite a thing where we lived, because there were only 2 televisions in our town. There was one national broadcast called Thuisaccu. We could watch that 3 times per week, because that's how often they had shows. So we'd sit in front of the TV, ready to flick the switch to watch these shows, very excited. And then we'd walk to the TV and flick the switch, and then it would turn on. Or not. Because that was the energy reality that I grew up in. Energy access was not a given. And even today in Niger, it's not a given. Only 16% of the people in Niger right now have access to electricity in their homes. 84% have no access to electricity in their homes. And even if you have access to electricity in your home, you are prone to have a lot of power outage. Here in the Netherlands, we have 24 minutes per year of power outage. That is an uptime of 99.9954%. That's pretty impressive. In the US, it is about 5 times as much downtime per year. And in Niger, it's 1,400 hours per year this year. 1,400 hours means you have a downtime of 4 hours per day. You can only thrive in such an economy and such an energy system if you can take care of your own energy. So this, as a very young child, already made me aware of the importance of local energy solutions. In the Netherlands, we have the 24 minutes, but for how long? Because we are all aware in this country of congestion issues. There is traffic jams on the grid, in the uptake and in the injection, both. All of the Netherlands by now, within a span of a few years, are coloring all red, which means that there's simply no space on the grid. Which also means that if we are building solutions, they should be solutions that do not rely on energy traffic over grids, but rely on integrating solutions on a local scale. Meanwhile, globally, we are still very good at this. Combustion. You could say, in a sense, we are pyromaniacs, all of us. We love fire. We love setting fire to little bits of the Earth's crust in order to fulfill our energy needs. And with good reason, because they are massive concentrations that we can release at once, and therefore, for the first time in our history, we could have on-demand energy when we found out about these fossil fuel resources. But we are depleting them way quicker than the Earth can cope with. 1 million times quicker. 1 million times. Because it took the Earth around 500 million years to build up the resources that we know in coal and oil and gas. It takes us around 500 years to deplete them. So that means that if we want to be in balance with our planet, we need to learn to use 1 million times less fossil fuels than we do today. And that's a pretty massive challenge. And in the meantime, the energy reality for 2.5 billion people is this one. This is the kitchen of my childhood friend's mother. My childhood friend Omar, his mother, Madame Kimba, this was her kitchen for her entire life. She passed away a few years ago, but I visit her every time that I went back to Niger. And she is one of the 2.5 billion people in the world that relies on collecting biomass to fulfill her family's basic energy needs. Now this is time consuming. It means that mainly the women in these communities are taking 30% of their waking hours, 40% of their waking hours sometimes, to fulfill their family's basic energy needs. Which means that they have a full-time job in fulfillment for energy. Which means that if you have to spend that amount of time to fulfill that need of energy, you cannot spend that time on earning an income. You cannot spend that time on attaining education. You cannot spend that time on raising your children. And that is why I am advocating for access to modern forms of energy as a universal human right. It should be everybody's right to access energy. Meanwhile, we do live in abundance, especially in Niger, which is the second best country in the world where it comes to the amount of solar energy that is hitting the Earth's surface. But even here in the Netherlands, it's actually pretty good. And if you look at it on a global scale, 1.5 hours of sunlight captured in any form of energy could sustain humanity for an entire year. Energy is not equally divided. If you look at different countries in the world, you do see that, for example, the average Canadian or US citizen has an annual energy budget that is around 2.5, 3 times the average amount of energy that the average Chinese can use. But it's about 10 times the amount of energy that the average Indian can use, and 100 times the average Nigerian. This is why I'm saying that yes, we have to cut our fossil fuel consumption by a factor of 1 million, but in the meantime, on a global scale, we're going to be using a lot more energy in the next few years. Because if we desire energy equity on a global scale, even if we would be able to cut our energy consumption in half, it would allow other countries to increase their energy consumption by a factor 30, 40, or 50. So this is a massive, massive challenge that we are undertaking together in this world. And I think a beautiful one also. We can safely say that we live in a time of energy crisis. But also, and this is what I once learned in China, is that crisis is not only bad. I think the word in Mandarin is Wei Ji, is that correct? Yes. And it consists of two characters. It is as well a time of danger as a crisis is a time of opportunity. And the both of them are yin and yang with each other, which means that in a time of crisis, there's always an equal amount of opportunity as there is an amount of danger. And we can learn to attune ourselves to the crisis side, or to the opportunity side of every crisis. Which means that if we learn to recognize the opportunity in this particular crisis, we can make use of it and turn it into something that is beneficial to ourselves and mankind. In 2007, I was given this image by a man named Larry Stout, and at that time he was the director of the Irish Dundalk Institute of Technology. And he asked me, what are you seeing here? And I'll ask you, what is this? What are we looking at right now? Do you have an idea? Carbon emissions are very close. Very close. Also very close. Now if you combine the two, carbon emissions and energy consumption, this is fossil energy consumption by humans throughout the ages. It blew my mind when I first saw this image, because I had never realized, being born in this peak, because this is a timeline, I had never realized that for thousands of years humanity mainly relied on renewable resources. When we discovered fire, it was mainly on renewable resources. When we discovered new continents, we did that with renewable resources. Now the direction of the wind would define which continent we would discover, but still, we did it with renewable resources. And here in the Netherlands, we have a history of being able to use renewable resources very, very smartly. Now, in fact, and this is a really interesting story, I'll stick to this one for another extra minute, but in the town of Zaandam, which is just a couple kilometers north from here, they have the Zaanse Schans. And at the Zaanse Schans, you see a couple of these windmills. Now, in Zaandam, they did not only have these original windmills, they had three types of mills: windmills, water mills, and horse mills. They had what you call double redundant, 100% renewables-based energy system in the pre-industrial era. That's a full sentence, and I'll break it down. They had windmills for their basic energy fulfillment, but a part of that wind energy was used to pump water to higher levels. Then they had water mills, which meant that if there was no wind, they could deploy these water mills and still use a form of energy. Now, if there'd be a shortage of wind and water at the same time, then they still had one neighborhood called the Rosmolenbuurt, where they had horses walking around mills to still fulfill their basic needs. So they had a battery system in the 1700s, in the 1800s. And it was only then that we discovered that we could release these massive amounts of energy by combusting little bits of the Earth's crust, which was the energy revolution, which again propelled into the Industrial Revolution. Because it taught us for the first time to melt steel, but also we harnessed the forces of nature for the first time. We made energy on demand for the first time. For the first time, we had control over the form of energy that we'd use, molecules, electricity, heat, the place where we'd use it, by transporting energy, and the time at which we use it. So these three factors defined the next 1.5 centuries of our progress as mankind, bringing us all here together. So therefore, I am thankful for the fossil era. We are around this point, just a little bit higher maybe, because we are on the verge of making the drop to 1 million times less fossil fuels. But that means that the future and the present already looks like this, it looks like this, and I have no idea what this is, but it will be probably introduced by Anker in a couple of years and also be fossil free. So, in short, the energy transition consists of thousands of years of a renewable era with a non-renewable intermezzo into what I call renewables 2.0. And what is the big difference between the first renewables era and renewables 2.0? It is that we finally found out, we cracked the code on how to make renewable energy on demand by harnessing the place where we use it, the form in which we use it, and the moment when we use it. So time, place, and modality. And this is with thanks to storage technologies, conversion technologies, energy management technologies, battery management technologies, and so forth, and so forth. And therefore, I am so hopeful for these next thousands of years, because we are right at the beginning of that new era. I've been fortunate enough to work with a bunch of friends in the energy field for a couple of years, like the European Commission, and in this particular case, the International Energy Agency in Paris. This is what they call their room number 1, which is interesting and feels very powerful. Anyways, I was doing a while ago a one-day session with them, because 11 years ago I founded the Internet of Energy initiative, because I did believe in a vision of energy becoming entirely asset-to-asset and peer-to-peer. So they asked me, can you bring policymakers of 45 countries along in this narrative and see what we should do about it? And then they prepared a reader, and I'm going to show that to you. They prepared a reader. Now the IEA is not so good at predicting, I can tell you that, because they're always, you know, they always predict something lower than the actual reality that's taking place. I'll show you an example of that later. But in this particular case, they predicted that between 2023 and 2030, sun and wind as a component of the global energy mix would grow by 600%, which is a game changer. But more interestingly, and this is where we get to our topic for today, they said that in only 7 years, between 23 and 2030, battery storage globally installed grows by 2,250%. Now that is a compound annual growth rate of 57% consistently, and even there they are on the slow side, but close to reality. And if you look at EVs, 1,150% growth in only 7 years' time, which means that we can no longer see the mobility system and the energy system as two separate systems. They have become one. They're merging. Now, again, I told you that the IEA is not so good at predicting, because if you look at the reality of installed solar capacity globally, this is the black line. Every year they did a prediction, the yellow lines, of what they thought it would become. Do you see what's happening here? Now, if you look at the previous slide again, we're in for something really interesting in the coming years. There are some markets where you can be a very, very mediocre entrepreneur and still become very, very successful. I'll tell you that. It also means that the energy transition is not only about technology. Of course it is about phasing out certain technologies and phasing in new ones. But more importantly, I do believe that it's about new economical and new business models. And you showed that already by saying that taking away, for example, what's it called again in English? Soldering.
Net metering.
Net metering tariffs. It makes the business case for local energy so much better. And I'm very glad that it does. You know, this is not first-hand very good news for the energy suppliers that we know today. But any energy company that considers themselves to be an energy service company suddenly have a tremendously better business case. It is also it's a social transition, because you and I as users will be connected differently. And in the end will become parts of that Internet of Energy. And it is an institutional transition, because it requires new laws and new regulations. And it requires lawmakers, and I'm working with them on an almost day-to-day basis, to learn that the feedback loop between innovation and application of new laws is becoming shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. Meanwhile, we also live in a reality where, and I found this one of the funniest pictures that I took in the past couple of years. We live in a reality where people are opposing against wind turbines, and in the meantime they do have a high voltage power line in their own backyards. That's interesting, isn't it? So this stuff happens in reality, but it also means that improving the status quo is not going to cut it anymore. What we have to do is redesign the entire system ground up. And I want to introduce to you a concept that I learned through the work of Richard Buckminster Fuller. Buckminster Fuller was an architect, and in 1969 he wrote a little book titled Operating Manual for Spaceship Earth. And in that book, he wrote, you don't change things by fighting the existing reality, you change things by building new models that make the old model obsolete. And I love that quote so much, because it almost became a life's mantra for me. because it made me realize that I do have a finite amount of energy within my own system. I eat and drink around 1.3 kilowatt hours per day, 5 million joules, and I get to spend them once. Either I spend them on what is wrong in the world, or trying to build what I do believe in. And together, if we combine the force of trying to build what we do believe in, we can make a big, big change. And this requires mindset. 3 mindsets I'm very quickly going to go through with you is 1, the seeker's mindset. A seeker for me is the OG scientist. A true seeker is always certain that they can never be certain, which means that we live by the question rather than by the answer. It means that the answer always leads to new questions. It means that we have perpetual learning curves. Seekership is beautiful, and Antoine de Lavoisier, who was born in 1743, for me is an example of a true seeker, and also the scientist that introduced the idea to us that in nature nothing is created, nothing is lost, everything is transformed. And today we're talking about transformation of energy. Also, what nature shows us, and I'm hosting beautiful sessions in the woods very regularly with all types of leaders from the energy industry and policymakers and such, is that we are, if we are in a forest, we are part of an energy system. It is an energy system where you can almost regard every leaf on a tree like a solar panel because it's collecting sunlight and transforming it into a usable form of energy, and then bringing that into an infrastructure of branches and roots and mycelium into a self-balancing, decentralized or distributed, ownerless, 100% renewables-based energy system. It also shows that nature's silver bullet solution is not a particular technology or organism, it is diversity. The more diversity, and this is why I'm very happy that this kind of solution is right now integratable with 870, I think you mentioned, vendors. I think that that's a very, very healthy thing because it's the diversity that will make the resilience of the entire system. And also the inclusion, the freedom of choice for us as humans. And also, in this same forest, we did a whole bunch of sessions with 150 experts on what are the underpinning design principles for future-proof energy systems. They're actually pretty easy. Every energy system that we're going to design from today onward is based on 100% renewable feed-in. It is about universal participation, which means that every node on a network is allowed to do multiple things if they choose to do so. Not only be a consumer, but also offer energy, also offer balance, perhaps offer a local market, could be anything. And environmental integration means energy is everywhere, so let's make it beautiful instead of putting it in a big box a couple hundred kilometers away. Distributed infrastructure means there is no center point, and I'll get to that later, because there's some beautiful examples in nature showing that. Local balancing, because it's no longer about expecting the balance to be sustained by an external large-scale organization. The first level of balance is within your own home, between your own devices. And lastly, security and privacy by design, because everything that we are mentioning here is integrated with the digital reality. It's very simple. Where do we learn that? One of the places where I learned that is at festivals. I work a lot with festivals. I just returned from one where I brought 100 innovators to that particular festival because they do have an above-ground infrastructure and they build an entire city that functions for a week. And because of that, we use festivals as living labs for tremendous innovations. And this is Into the Great Wide Open on Vlieland, and I just returned from Digital Festival here in Amsterdam, where we also hosted a hackathon. The artist mindset is the second mindset. Which ones of you do some form of arts? Wonderful. Which ones of you enjoy arts? That's everybody, right? And why? Because artists are translators. Artists help us see things through fresh eyes. They can look at a reality and then translate it into something that we can understand differently, thanks to the artist mindset. That is why I believe that an artist should always be an integral part of any innovation team. Sun Glacier is an example of this. Sun Glacier was designed by Abonneer, who was a friend of mine, an artist, who 11 years ago said to me, I want to build a glacier in the desert, which is a crazy, crazy idea. But sure enough, a couple months later, he gave this example. He said, I'm going to put up solar panels in the desert. They're going to generate a lot of electricity. I'm going to use that electricity to cool a fluid that runs in tubes underneath these panels. I'm going to cool that below 0 degrees Celsius, which means it's going to attract condensation out of the humidity in the air, and therefore I'm going to be able to make ice and make a glacier. So, with all my engineering skills, I could not crack his idea. It sounded crazy, I could not imagine it, but it was possible. And sure enough, a couple of years later, he had 2 working prototypes in the Sahara, in the desert of Mali. Water and electricity out of the air. And even a couple of years later, at the Expo 2020 in Dubai, the central installation of the Dutch pavilion was a solar rooftop with a perpetual waterfall feeding a vertical farm. This is the artist's mindset at work. So we had electricity, water, food out of the air in the desert, thanks to the artist. Third mindset, the hacker's mindset. Which ones of you are hackers? It's very good because true hackers never reveal themselves right away. It's very good. You're a smart, smart crowd. So, what defines a hacker? A hacker never waits for circumstances to change. No. What a hacker does was use the here and now to achieve the reality that they desire. So if you believe in something and you have the hacker's mindset, you'll make the solution with the here and now. And that's what hackers do. Hackers. This is my old teacher, Monsieur Torodo in Niger. I found him after 26 years. He had not changed one bit except for his mobile phone. Everybody has a mobile phone in Niger, but I already mentioned that 84% of the people have no electricity in their homes. How do you charge those things? Well, they have very, very smart installations for that. But moreover, Niger was the first country in sub-Saharan Africa that had 4G coverage countrywide. Now, this is a country that is 4 times France in surface. How did they do that without an electricity grid? They did it with solar panels and batteries. That's how it works. And we get to the Internet of Energy. Are you familiar with the Internet? It's quite a thing these days, right? So I was raised by an Internet pioneer. My mother was an Internet pioneer, and literally, so she was online before the WWW. And she literally once told me, I'm fine with you playing outside so much, Arash, but you should be spending some more time on a computer. And I guess you're telling your kids the exact opposite, which proves her point. Now, this was the internet in 1973, 36 users in total. That's it. Until 1989, it was full nerd mode. And then Tim Berners-Lee wrote the WWW protocol, the World Wide Web protocol, which made for the first time the internet easy and comprehensible for normal people like you and me. And that really set off the big, big movement until last year we welcomed the 6 billionth internet user. So we went from 36 to 6 billion in the span of 52 years. And we're doing the same with generation storage of energy, I'll tell you that. It means that we are no longer consumers of knowledge and data, we became prosumers, producers and users at the same time. Now with energy, we're following the same path, because we're moving from this that we also saw in one of the films earlier on, through decentralization, which is still a central model but smaller, and then everybody's complaining because it doesn't really work, to what we call a distributed system. Now, on a distributed system, you can no longer tell this is a consumer and this is a producer, because everything can be anything. Sometimes I call it energy Buddhism, because everything's connected to everything else. All 5 fundamental functions in any energy system are here: generation, usage, conversion, storage, and transportation. Transportation, you don't need that much of it anymore if you organize storage and conversion in a smart way, which is exactly what we're here for today. And that leads to solutions that are completely peer-to-peer, but also rely on technologies like these, where we no longer have to pay 35,000 euros for our grid reinforcement per household in the Netherlands. That's the amount that is being calculated right now. Instead of that, for a couple thousand euros, you could be done. It means that the energy system is being redesigned from a system that relies on central planning and control, like the classical orchestra. It's beautiful, but it only works if everybody went to a conservatory and knows how to tune their instrument properly, to a reality that is a lot more like this, a jam session. Everybody can do anything at any given time, but we do together bear the responsibility to make it sound cool. Or to give you an analogy with nature, looks like this. A swarm intelligent self-balancing energy system thanks to digital technologies, IoT, and a combination of basic functions on that energy system. Together, we can be more than the sum of our parts. So this is also what we are building at Synergy, where I already mentioned that we hosted this hackathon last week, and you'll be invited for the next one if you want to. Just, pull my jacket in an hour or so, and I'll be very, very happy to put you on the list because we need solution builders such as yourselves in our community. And it's called, in the end, People Power People, because that's what we're doing here in essence. It's regular people empowering themselves and empowering other people, and therewith becoming a community that transcends beyond a culture of contest and zero-sum games and onto a culture of collaboration and synergy, and together being more than the sum of our parts, or in the words of John Lennon, imagine all the people sharing all the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Arash, and thank you all for being here with us today. So we hope you enjoyed the keynote and the conversation so far. So from now on, we warmly invite you guys to head to the first floor to explore our several product display areas and to get hands-on with the Solarbank Max AC. Also, dinner will be served from 5:30 p.m. on the first floor as well. So please enjoy the evening, enjoy the food, and take the opportunity to talk to the team and to each other. Thanks again. Have a great evening.
Goed, even voor nu. Dit was dan dus de keynote met de introductie van de Solarmax AC. Dus ook de XE. Nou, prijzen zijn ook bekendgemaakt voor de AC, maar we krijgen dus nu ook de mogelijkheid voor de productdemo. Daar gaan we natuurlijk voor meenemen. Dat is de volgende stream, dus mist u niet. We hebben even nog een beetje van pauze. We gaan even wat informatie inbrengen en dan nemen we u sowieso mee. Nou, als jullie nog zijn gebleven, uiteraard bedankt voor het kijken. Blijf nog even nog aan, haal een kopje koffie, maak een bakje thee, neem even een paspauze. Dat gaan we sowieso doen. En zien jullie hopelijk zo meteen bij de producten.
Mag